Well, I hope you all had a happy new year, cause that took 20 business days to shift up. Even though this car's got a measly 6k redline for what is an NA engine, the joy is just so short-lived. The power build-up and the intoxication through your veins from that lovely induction noise just makes you want to bank gears and relive the fun all over again. But then, all the fun is halted for a few seconds as soon as you shift up, and by the time those revs finally drop, the dopamine you are chasing has fizzed away. This is rev hang, possibly the most annoying feature modern cars face today, especially if you are trying to drive fast. We'll cover in more detail what it is, the conditions which cause it, as well as solutions you can use to fix this delisome feeling. Without further ado, let's begin. Picture this, you decide to go a little bit over the speed limit, let's say 100 in the 70 zone. A cop car spots you, but you're a brokey, so knowing you can't afford the fine, you try to lose his tail, and so a police pursuit begins. But your car keeps rev hanging until then, the cop catches up to you, pulls you over as you're at a dead end, and you're thrown into a deep, dark dungeon full of dragons and demons. This might be an oddly extreme example, but I hope it paints a picture in your mind of what rev hang is, and why it sucks. It's basically when your engine's revs decrease slowly after you've lifted your foot off the gas, especially after shifting in a manual, as you have to use the clutch as well. The reason why it sucks, especially for us car enthusiasts, is because we want a snappy and immediate shifting experience so that we can go faster and maintain that driving rhythm we have in our mind, but don't quite get it. Rev hang, however, can be caused by many different factors and things, and isn't quite exclusive to just modern manual cars. With that being said, let's discuss these conditions which cause rev hang. The first reason why rev hang occurs in most modern cars nowadays is because of them using electronic throttle bodies, also known as drive-by-wire. Why is this bad? Let's explain. Back in the day, mechanical throttle bodies were used, with a simple direct design where when you put your foot on the gas, the cable linking the accelerator pedal would simply rotate and open up the throttle body, so there is no delay in the revs decreasing. Unfortunately, the electronic throttle bodies used today are much more complex in nature, as the direct mechanical function is gone, and it's more, let's direct. As like Frankenstein, with the car's ECU acting on its own whims against its master's will, and, despite you flooring the gas, it still delays how much the throttle actually closes, based on what it thinks the other inputs from the sensors and the controllers in the car are doing. But there's a method to this madness. In regions such as Europe, where highly stringent emission measures are enforced on all new cars, manufacturers have to use the electronic throttle body design, as the rev hang actually buys time for the air to mix with the remaining fuel in the intake manifold, allowing for better emissions. Despite direct injection engines shooting fuel directly into the cylinder rather than the intake manifold, due to that enforced commitment to emissions we touched on earlier, especially in Europe, rev hang is still programmed by the ECU to optimize its fuel delivery and ensure better combustion efficiency. But it is still prevalent, so it's a catch-22 for car manufacturers really when designing a modern sporty car. Either have a car that is snappy on the upshift, or have a car that has good emissions and fuel economy but bad rev hang, a drawback that has drawn criticism from owners of cars such as the Hyundai i20N and the Toyota GR86. The choice of the electronic throttle body by manufacturers is another step in the direction of refinement over rawness, as when the revs drop up slowly with rev hang, shifts feel more smooth and not sudden and snappy, which caters to the average commuter who doesn't prioritize speed. Especially in a manual gearbox, when a car with little or no rev hang can cause more jerky gear changes or even worse, stalling. Introducing rev hang is a way for manufacturers to soften the vibrations caused by these gear changes. Continuing on the point of manuals, a heavy dual mass flywheel is also another culprit of rev hang when fitted to a manual gearbox from the factory, as these store more rotational inertia which resists changes in engine speed. The revs take longer to decrease even after you lift off the throttle due to the dual mass flywheel's slowing clutch and flywheel engagement, causing rev hang. But why are these used in many modern cars today? It's another symptom in the endless pursuit of refinement and emission reduction, where smoothness in shifts is prioritized over snappiness, and especially for new manual drivers, this can be useful for those avoiding the dreaded feeling of being the first one at the lights and stalling. Another reason can also be due to automatic gearbox design. In my Orion, a 6-speed torque converter automatic is used, so when it's left to its own devices, it shifts smoothly, with tinges of rev hang, but when I put it into manual mode like I did at the start of this video, that's where it all gets a bit wonky. Well, that's because torque converters, which are used in many modern cars like the Suzuki Swift and the Mazda 3, use fluid coupling to transmit power from the engine to the tranny. When I shifted in manual mode, or even lifted my foot off the gas to slow down, the torque converter will delay full disengagement to prevent driveline shock and smooth out the shifts of refinement, which I agree, this may handle like a boat, but damn, it's bloody smooth to drive every day. Lastly, if your engine is cold and you drive it, it will definitely cause some rev hang. This is as when the engine is cold, the ECU will enrich the air-fuel mixture to help start the car, which can cause the revs to drop slowly after you let off the throttle. Cold engines also have thicker oil, and that causes the friction within the engine to decrease. To counteract this so that wear and tear doesn't occur quicker, ECUs will slightly adjust the throttle, which can cause this rev hang effect, so you should wait until the engine reaches its optimum temperature, as the oil will thin, allowing the engine to be more responsive. With all of that technical talk out of the way, let's explore how you can fix rev hang. To reduce rev hang, there are a few driving techniques that we suggest. Even though it's not quite the last word in speed hunting, try to lift off the throttle more gradually, as chances are the rev hang that you'll experience if you lift out too aggressively will take longer. This allows the engine speed to decrease more smoothly. You can also keep the engine in its optimal rev range to reduce this rev hang. Whilst the majority of issues are related to electronic throttle control, it can at first be daunting to modify in comparison to parts such as suspension components, there are still mods out there that exist. If you drive a manual and suffer from rev hang, we recommend switching to a lighter flywheel, or even in some cases, a single mass flywheel. This is as these types of flywheels store lower rotational inertia, allowing for less resistance to changes in the revs, making the engine either faster to decelerate, accelerate, or snappier to shift. However, there are cons as well to this modification if you are looking for a refined and sporty driving experience, as a lack of damping in a single mass flywheel can mean more engine vibrations, especially at lower RPMs. So if your commute is primarily stop and go traffic in smaller urban roads, especially if you are concerned with your fuel economy or carbon footprint, we actually don't recommend installing a single mass flywheel, as your car can feel more twitchy or nervous at low speeds in regards to throttle inputs, especially if you have been driving this car for a while, as your brain has gotten used to how much throttle to apply, and changing that will feel like quite an unpredictable surprise. Reflashing or mapping your ECU is another great way to mitigate rev hang, depending on what car you have. If you have a car with a huge aftermarket, like the CL9 Honda Accord Euro, many brands such as Honda have reflashes, which you can use to optimize your car performance, and these can control various engine parameters not limited to throttle, fuel delivery, and ignition timing. In most ECU reflashes or tunes, the ECU can be reprogrammed so that the throttle body responds much quicker to changes in the throttle input, allowing the revs to drop faster and getting rid of some, and hopefully all, of that nasty rev hang. Whilst not a mod, it would also be a good idea to check your clutch and see if it is wearing out or not. As the clutch wears, it may begin to slip slightly, which can cause those revs to drop slowly, contributing to rev hang. But with a clutch that is either in new or proper condition, the clutch is fully engaged, meaning that the engine can decouple smoothly from the tranny, improving the engine's responsiveness and mitigating rev hang. Lastly, installing an aftermarket throttle controller device is another great way to get rid of rev hang. This is as the throttle controller allows you to adjust the sensitivity of your accelerator pedal, allowing you to fine-tune how quickly the throttle body opens and closes, which can reduce the delay in that revs after lifting off the gas. Many throttle controllers come with driving modes such as Sport and Sport Plus, and choosing the sportiest driving mode will give you the best chance to eliminate rev hang from your car, as it is the most aggressive throttle setting. Many hot hatches and even sports cars today, in particular the Hyundai i20N, already have inbuilt drive modes already built into the car, so switching the engine drive mode to the sportiest setting, which in the i20N's case will be Sport Plus, can potentially get rid of that rev hang, but for basically no money. So as a brokey, what a win! Let's now head into the concluding remarks. So what can we sum up this video as? Well, let's say that we're trying to bring back joy into a car by understanding and attempting to get rid of a problem in rev hang that is always going to exist because of all the strict Euro 7 laws that govern what cars can be made and sold nowadays. Were there any other reasons why rev hang exists, or ways you could fix rev hang? If so, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, let's hope for a cracker 2025, and I'll see you in a bit.